there, sports fans. A very special treat today, joined by my friend Justin Shackil. I'm sure you've seen that handsome face on the scoreboard at Yankee Stadium. But Justin, of course, you're so versatile. What are you doing these days? Is this the longest that you've gone without a haircut? Because I know it's the longest it's been for me.
Absolutely, and that is 100% the reason why I have a hat on right now. There's no controlling what's under this cover. I've just been trying to stay busy in my apartment with my girlfriend. She's been great. Um, Lifting, reading, running, trying to teach myself a new instrument. I've always wanted to play an instrument, so I said, hey, if you're ever going to have the time, now is certainly it. Just trying to expand my horizons, I guess you could say.
That's very cool. Now, again, I'm sure Yankee fans will definitely know you as a host at the stadium, but they get a chance to watch you too on the Yes Network. With baseball not in session right now, what are you doing to keep yourself busy at home other than these other hobbies and activities?
Yeah, I try and put together, a schedule when times are normal or when they were normal, so to speak. I'm still anchoring on Sirius XM. I work there as well, and have my radio studio, which is also my kitchen table. Just trying to make it work. But a lot of downtime like everybody else, because without live events, it's pretty tough to talk about a lot of different things that aren't happening. So I think you can definitely include myself with many of the people who are just antsy for games to hopefully return soon.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I'm kind of at the makeshift point too in my kitchen using. Chris told me I don't do it. Our editor, Chris Busateri, who does a great job, said I don't do a good enough job of trying to dress up my location. I put my Yankee Stadium seat behind me. I don't know if you see it, but I try to do a little something for the fans at home.
I tried to do the backdrop that you could have online with these numerous apps, and I had it worked out for one app, couldn't get it figured out for another, didn't know how to do it for Google Hangouts, so you are left with the upper ceilings of my kitchen here.
You mentioned, Justin, about baseball being, of course, temporarily suspended because of the global pandemic, but it looks like there is some maybe promising news on the horizon. The fact that baseball could be coming back. Some reports now saying perhaps at the end of June, maybe the latest July 2nd, they could be doing this whole reorganization of the divisions, and perhaps that would abolish everything that we know about the American and the National League, keep things kind of local. Do you see baseball coming back soon, and do you like the idea of doing this local thing that would allow the teams to be back in their home ballparks and playing baseball sooner rather than later?
Well, Bobby, the number one rule that I kind of was taught about, you know, getting into broadcasting, and if you're going to report on things, always leave room to explain, because the last thing you want to say is, hey, I don't know. But you know what? I really don't know. I wish I had some type of answer. Until there is more rapid testing and monitoring for the pandemic, it's really tough to know what is true, what could be true in the short term, and what the landscape's going to look like just a few weeks from now. So I think once we have those two parameters, more monitoring, more widespread and fast testing, I think the picture will be so much more clear for the short term. And I think that's what everybody kind of needs to be waiting on. I think the only guy that we could really trust in these days is Dr. Fauci, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Justin, I made the comment before about you kind of being a jack of all trades and doing all different sports and hosting and updates and of course the play-by-play too. But I do believe baseball's kind of been your bread and butter. For you as a broadcaster, how challenging has this been? Of course, not having the games to do, but what do you miss the most about America's pastime?
I love being at the stadium. I love being on the field, in the clubhouse, talking with the people that make the game go, and that's certainly something for me that I'm definitely missing right now. I hope it gets back to normal quickly. Obviously, there's so many greater concerns that are going on in the world right now than sports, and here specifically with baseball. But if you're going to ask me what I miss the most, it's just the routine of a normal day. Right now should be at the stadium. I think the Yankees would be playing the Tigers, concluding a series there, and it's just not happening. So, it definitely sunk in when opening day rolled around, and then the home opener date rolled around, and everything kind of sinks in more and more. And obviously, it's not going to be normal, whatever type of uh, portion of the game is able to return at some point this year. So whatever happens, in whatever form we get it back, I'm going to be really grateful when it certainly comes.
Of course. I love watching you on the screen at Yankee Stadium. You do a great job, too, on the Yes Network. I think you're one of the up and coming sportscasters in the business. I know, again, that this has got to be a difficult time, especially because I really think this year was going to be the year for the Yankees. Talk a little bit about the expectation for the Bronx Bombers, especially after they reel in the big fish in their top starting pitcher there in Garrett Cole.
You would lose out on a prime year of Garrett Cole, and then you take a look at the Yankees roster up and down. I would say an overwhelming majority of the roster has players that are in those prime years of their respective careers. Every team loses something if no games are being played. No one is skating by here and catching a break if no games are being played. But I think teams like the Yankees, teams like the Dodgers, where they have so many players in their respective primes, well, you have to subtract one of those years now. And that window to win a championship, while it is still very much open, it's not getting wider. That's for sure. So, the only other way to go is the window closing. And I think that's the sad part, and that's the tough part that fans and executives around the game, they would have to eat if there is no baseball in 2020.
One of the Yankee legends, too, going to be impacted, of course, by this global pandemic, because there's news now reports that Cooperstown celebration later this summer, honoring, of course, the captain Derek Jeter, looks like it's going to be postponed and perhaps moved to the following year. Any thoughts on what kind of impact that's going to have to? I know Jeter will be fine, but any thoughts on the impact it's going to have to Cooperstown?
Just being around that city, and for anyone who hasn't been there, the Hall of Fame and Museum is obviously the lifeblood of that little town, and so much of its if its business happens in that 1 week. I think the summer months, alone, they're definitely losing a lot of their business there. But that 1 week, especially when you talk about the players that would be inducted with Jeter, Larry Walker, Ted Simmons, Marvin Miller, and just the buzz, the record crowds there, the summer season. I really feel bad for that town, but like everybody else everywhere, they're going to bounce back, going to be okay. And yeah, like you mentioned, Derek Jeter is going to be fine. I think this could probably be the biggest piece of adversity that he would experience in his baseball career. But again, he's going to be fine. They're eventually going to have a ceremony. It's just like everything else, you just don't know when.
So many ramifications to this, and of course, a great impact to the Bronx as well, with I think the economic impact of not having baseball here in the borough. Not only do the fans miss the Bronx Bombers, but we really miss it economically.
Yeah, and I think about those small businesses that kind of run along the stadium. I know people have kind of documented the adversity that they face as well, but those are the small businesses, and those are the places that fans know, and they become part of the game day experience, whether it's before the game or after the game. The bars, the T-shirt shops, all that. Those are the businesses that I'm certainly thinking about at times like this, because they all intertwine into the game day experience at Yankee Stadium. So I just really hope and I pray that everyone's able to make it out on the other side of this.
Same here, Justin. I'm also hoping that we can both get haircuts very soon.
Yes, because I'm at first I kind of went for the late '70s Yankees look, where it's kind of you can't see it here, the hat's covering it up.
Oscar Gamble, maybe.
Yes,
Oscar Gamble, yeah.
I'm going for the covered ears look. I was starting to grow some facial hair, maybe a handlebar mustache. That got nixed right away. The girlfriend has to live with me as well here, and she doesn't want to look at that every day. So these are tough times for everyone with hair challenges, and hopefully we can get to the barber soon.
I hope to see you at the ballpark very soon, Justin. I appreciate you taking the time today.
Likewise, Bobby. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it, man.